All right, welcome back. For some reason, President Trump decided to sit down with Fox Nation host Piers Morgan. They traded jabs during an interview that's going to be airing on Fox's streaming service. But since the airing, Breitbart News and NBC News claims there's been some deceptive edits. Audio provided by Trump's team to Breitbart proves that Morgan and his team did, in fact, edit this interview to make it appear like the former president ended it and stormed off the set. And that's not actually what took place here. Joining us to talk about this is a former special assistant to President Trump, Marc Lotter. Hey, Marc, great to see you.
Thanks for having me, John.
Well, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised about this, right? This is kind of Piers Morgan's whole brand. And as I indicated before in the last hour, I, for one, am somewhat surprised that Piers Morgan keeps winding up on American television sets. I mean, we got our own American journalist here in this country. He's had his day. Can we just sunset Piers Morgan and find somebody new?
Well, you would think, but obviously, the networks are going to try bring him back and do whatever they can. But this is really nothing different. I mean, one, President Trump gets ratings. We know President Trump gets ratings, but the media can't just have that. Now they've even gone to get even higher ratings. We need to generate or invent controversy where it doesn't even exist. And I mean, it just shows you, whether it was back for 4 years while we were in the White House or on the campaign, that every quote that could be taken out of context, or someone who doesn't even really know what they're talking about wants to spout off and it's a controversy, or now fake editing of interviews to try to create controversy. I mean, it's not enough just to have the man on and get high ratings. Now they're trying to even go higher.
Well, yes, everyone loved Donald Trump, and then he became president, and then they had to tear him down. And now, of course, you know how it works. They like to tear you down so they can build you back up. Everyone loves a comeback story. Piers Morgan said, or Donald Trump said, that Piers Morgan was desperately trying to revive his career. Again, I don't understand why he would even do this. And you would think that Piers Morgan, given the fact that he won Celebrity Apprentice, he wouldn't do Donald Trump dirty like this.
Yeah, you really have to wonder why. And it's obviously probably more generated for the British and the European audience than it is for an American audience. But that's why rule number one in political communications is record the interview. Right. And so thankfully, because the president's team did that, they were actually able to disprove this fantasy created by Piers Morgan. And so I give them a lot of credit. I also give credit to NBC for covering it accurately, and not just having to be your traditional conservative outlets doing it. So I think credit goes where it's due.
Right. And NBC loves this story because it gets ratings, because it talks about President Trump. Marc, I also wanted to get your take on CNN Plus. The announcement today coming down that they are folding up, never made it out of a year. We also have this clip of Jen Psaki appearing on former Fox host Chris Wallace's show yesterday. Take a look at this.
We can agree to disagree on that, Chris. I think how he has felt engaging with the press makes sense to him or works is how he used to do it in the Senate, which was to talk to reporters after he did events, take their questions. Oftentimes he takes multiple questions.
And there were some other parts about this. I was struck, Marc, by the set that Chris Wallace has. Maybe generate an audience before you spend your whole wad on a fancy set.
Well, I mean, the whole thing surprises me. I mean, when you look at CNN's ratings, no one is watching them when it comes with your basic cable for free. Why would you think anyone would pay for it? So, I mean, that's just a bad business decision. And when it comes to Jen, I mean, she's living in a fantasy land. I mean, maybe she belongs down at Disney or something, working down there. But they're hiding President Biden, and they're doing it on purpose, whether it's the Easter Bunny or whatever they do. The man can't stand up to real questioning, which was Chris Wallace's point. There's a difference between taking a question while you're walking to or from Air Force One rather than sitting down one-on-one with a reporter for 30 minutes or 20 minutes and having to do a deep dive. And so I just don't believe that she could actually believe this is true.
Yeah, it's hard to think of an interview that even comes close to Donald Trump sitting down with 60 Minutes, and they badly distorted that interview as well on the Hunter Biden stuff, and also the Jonathan Swan Axios interview. Joe Biden has not done anything even remotely similar to that. The hardest hitting interview I think he did was with Lester Holt, and that guy is like the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah, I think I saw somewhere it's been like close to 70 some days since he had a press conference where he actually sat there for an extended period of time. And I remember in the White House, you know, with the media, when they feel like they're not getting enough access in the way they want it, they will let you know. And there's usually a countdown or a count up clock for that. And yet, where is it when it deals with Joe Biden? If Donald Trump didn't tweet for 2 days, I mean, you'd have thought the world would have ended.
Like a bunch of hungry chicks in a nest begging for their little food that you have to regurgitate out to them. That's the White House press corps. Marc Lotter, great to see you.
Good to see you.
With the exception of James Rosen and John Gizzi, of course, our guys.
Well, of course, yes.
Great to see you. Well, the DOJ is planning to appeal the recent ruling eliminating the federal mask mandate for travelers at the CDC's request. We'll get an update on that story. Stay tuned.